Let's start with the objects that are just visiting. We will work our way towards the planet killers. Number 9 is the lost module Shenzhou 15. This is exactly why we need to watch the sky. In January 2026, we lost something huge. It was the orbital module from a Chinese spacecraft. This piece of space junk weighed over 4 tons. That is roughly the weight of 2 large pickup trucks. Usually we track these things with ground radar, but this time the radar system struggled to lock on. The object was tumbling in a chaotic, undetected pattern. Space agencies knew it was coming down somewhere, but they had zero idea where it would land. Imagine a 4-ton metal brick falling at Mach 20. It could have landed in downtown New York City. It could have smashed into a crowded football stadium. The panic behind closed doors was absolutely real. They had to use a brand new tracking method. They stopped looking up and started listening down. Seismic sensors picked up the sonic booms in the ground. The Earth itself screamed as the metal burned up. We finally pinpointed the crash site in the Pacific Ocean. It landed harmlessly away from any human civilization. But the terrifying part is not the crash itself. It is the fact that we were flying blind. Our radar shield has massive holes in it right now. If a 4-ton module can slip through unnoticed, imagine what happens when a city-killer asteroid arrives. We are playing Russian roulette with gravity every day, and one day the chamber will not be empty. Number 8 is the solar internet kill switch. This event just happened on January 19th, 2026. It was the strongest solar radiation storm in 20 years. Scientists classify this as an S4 level event. That is one step away from the maximum catastrophe scale. Most people just saw some pretty northern lights, but the reality in space was much more violent. The sun blasted a proton stream directly at Earth. These particles slammed into our magnetic field at light speed. It didn't just make the sky glow green and purple. It fried sensitive navigation sensors on multiple satellites. GPS systems over the poles were completely knocked out. Airlines had to reroute flights to avoid radiation poisoning. Pilots were warned that their radios might stop working. This was a warning shot across our digital bow. Our entire economy runs on these delicate orbital computers. If this storm had been just a little stronger, you would be watching this on a blank screen. The internet could have gone dark for weeks or months. We call it the solar maximum, and it is peaking now. The sun is waking up and it is angry. We are building a digital house of cards on a fault line, and the sun is getting ready to shake the table. Number 7 is the false moon return asteroid 2022 AG. This visitor arrives on January 29th, 2026. It is one of the strangest rocks in our neighborhood. Most asteroids fly past us at incredible speeds. They zoom by like a car on a highway. But 2022 AG is moving unusually slow relative to Earth. This slow speed allows a very rare physics trick. Earth's gravity can actually grab onto the asteroid. It pulls the rock into a temporary orbit around us. For a few months, we will have 2 moons. One is the giant white rock you know and love. The other is this dark, oblong, city-sized invader. It will loop around the planet in a chaotic dance. Then gravity will eventually fling it back into the dark. It is called a gravitational capture event, or mini-moon. These events used to be considered extremely rare anomalies, but we are seeing them happen more and more often. Some scientists think this rock is not just a rock. Its orbit is almost too perfect to be natural. But that is a conspiracy for another video entirely. For now, just know that we have a temporary guest, and we should probably make sure it leaves peacefully. If it decides to stay, things could get messy. We don't have room for 2 moons in this sky. Number 6 is the planet killer hunter. We have all heard the horror stories about asteroid Apophis. They call it the god of chaos for a reason. It is a rock the size of the Empire State Building, and in 2029, it will skim our atmosphere. It will be closer to us than our own TV satellites. But 2026 is the year we finally fight back. We are not just sitting around waiting to die anymore. Space agencies are prepping a hunter mission right now. It is called the Ramses mission, and it is absolutely critical. This isn't just a fun science trip to take photos. It is a military reconnaissance mission for a potential war. The spacecraft must intercept Apophis before it reaches Earth. We need to study the rock's gravitational stability immediately. We have to know if it is a solid rock or rubble. If we shoot a nuke at a loose pile of gravel, it just turns into 1,000,000 radioactive shotgun pellets. That would turn a bullet into a buckshot blast. We need to know exactly how to kill this thing efficiently, because if Apophis hits the wrong gravitational keyhole in space, it could swing back around and hit us on the rebound. The engineers are sweating over the launch details today. One wrong calculation, and the hunter misses the prey entirely. This is the highest stakes game of tag ever played. If Ramses fails, we are flying blind in 2029. We will be standing on the beach beach watching a tsunami. And I don't know about you, but I prefer seeing the monster that wants to wipe us out. Number 5 is the Sungrazer suicide comet. This object has a boring scientific name of C2026A1, but astronomers are calling it the kamikaze of the year. It was only discovered in January of 2026. That means it snuck up on us completely undetected. It is diving straight towards the heart of the solar system. In April, it will reach a point called perihelion. That is the point closest to the surface of the sun. Most comets stay far away in the safe freezing dark, but this one has a death wish for some reason. It belongs to a family of comets called Kreutz Sungrazers. It is going to skim the solar atmosphere at insane speeds. Temperatures will hit thousands of degrees in mere seconds. The ice on the comet will scream as it boils. This creates a massive tail of gas that could be visible. If it survives the dive, it will be spectacular to watch. You might see it in the daylight sky next to the sun, but there is a very high chance it explodes violently. The sun's gravity could rip it apart like wet tissue paper. We are watching a celestial moth fly into a blowtorch. It is a reminder of how violent our neighborhood actually is. Comets die all the time in the sun's massive furnace. We usually just don't get front row seats to the execution. Get your solar eclipse glasses ready for April just in case. You might see a ghost coming back from the dead, or you might just see a cloud of expensive dust. Number 4 is the Devil Comet's evil twin. We had the Devil Comet scare a while back. Now, meet its quieter but creepier cousin Comet Wirtanen. It is making its closest approach in February 2026. You might be able to see it with strong binoculars. But the scary part isn't how it looks to us. It is where it is deciding to fly right now. The orbit cuts uncomfortably close to our satellite belt. We have thousands of satellites orbiting in a delicate grid. Space is big, but orbits are actually quite crowded highways. When a comet passes through, it leaves a dirty trail. It leaves a cloud of dust and tiny ice rocks. Imagine throwing a handful of sand at a glass windshield. Now imagine the car is moving at 17,000 miles per hour. At that speed, even a grain of sand hits like a bullet. If Wirtanen dusts our satellite geostationary ring, we are in trouble. We could lose weather satellites or military comms in an instant. It is a silent, invisible threat to our global infrastructure. The comet itself won't hit the planet Earth today, but it could blind us by taking out our digital eyes. Astronomers are tracking the dust trail density right now. They are praying the math is on our side this time, because we can't dodge a cloud of dust in space. We just have to hold our breath and wait it out. It is a cosmic drive by shooting in slow motion. Number 3 is the Jupiter Crasher. This object is officially designated as 3I Atlas. It is an interstellar object from a completely different system. We have seen visitors like Oumuamua pass through before, but this one is behaving very differently from a rock. It is currently screaming towards Jupiter at impossible speeds. It is moving too fast to be held by the Sunday. That means it is just passing through our neighborhood, but in March 2026, it hits a roadblock. It is going to fly extremely close to Jupiter. Jupiter is the massive vacuum cleaner of the solar system. Its gravity protects Earth from deep space garbage every day. Astronomers are watching to see if Jupiter catches it. If it hits the gas giant, the impact will be visible. It would be like a nuclear bomb going off in clouds. We saw this happen back with Comet Shoemaker-Levy 9. That impact left a bruise on Jupiter larger than Earth. If 3I Atlas misses, it will be slingshot out. It will use Jupiter as a gravity assist to accelerate. Some fringe theories suggest this is not just a rock. The trajectory is suspiciously flat and perfectly aimed. It looks like a probe using a planet to refuel, but we probably won't know until it is too late. Jupiter is about to take a potential bullet for us, or it might just wave goodbye to an alien probe. We are watching the traffic camera of the solar system, and something just ran a very big red light. Number 2 is the blood moon alignment. Mark your calendars for March 3rd, 2026. We are getting a total lunar eclipse over the Pacific, but this one comes with a very rare visual twist. Usually the moon turns a deep copper red color. We call it a blood moon because of Rayleigh scattering. It is every sunset on Earth projected onto the moon. The atmosphere filters out the blue light, leaving only red. But this time, Mars is sitting right next to it. You will see 2 red eyes staring down at Earth. It is a double planetary alignment that looks absolutely apocalyptic. Mars will be bright enough to rival the eclipsed moon. Ancient cultures would have sacrificed livestock over this site. They saw red moons as a sign of impending war. Today we know it is just orbital mechanics showing off, but it is still unnerving to see the sky bleed. It is the perfect time to grab a backyard telescope. You can see the craters on the moon clearly, and you can see the red dust storms on Mars. It is a cosmic staring contest with the red planet. And for one night only, the moon is blinking first. The geometry required for this lineup is incredibly precise. It is a beautiful reminder of our place in space. We are just floating rocks dancing in the dark, and sometimes the dancers step on each other's toes. Number 1 is the Eclipse Blackout. This is the big event for August 2026. On August 12th, the sun will go dark over Europe. This is the first total solar eclipse there since '99, but the world is very different than it was back then. In '99, we didn't run the grid on solar panels. Today, Europe generates a massive amount of solar energy. When the shadow hits, the power drops instantly. It is like unplugging a continent for a few minutes. Energy operators are calling it the Great Blackout Test. They have to spin up gas turbines immediately to compensate. We are talking about losing gigawatts of power in seconds. If they fail, the grid frequency will become unstable. That means blackouts could ripple across multiple countries. Spain is right in the path of totality this year. They rely heavily on solar power during the hot summer. Millions of tourists will be looking up at the sky. While the engineers are sweating looking at the screens, it is a battle between celestial mechanics and human engineering. The moon is going to turn off the lights, and we have to see if we can keep them on. It creates a phenomenon known as the duck curve. The energy demand spikes exactly when supply hits zero. It is the ultimate stress test for a renewable future. If the lights stay on, we pass the test. If they go out, we know we aren't ready yet. The sun is the ultimate boss of our energy grid, and sometimes the boss decides to take a break. And this is why you don't sleep through astronomy class. The universe is throwing rocks at us while we argue on Twitter. Some of them are beautiful, like the blood moon. Some of them are terrifying, like the planet killer. But all of them are a reminder that we live in a shooting gallery. If you want to know what happens when we actually get hit, click this video right here on the screen. It explains exactly how we plan to deflect an asteroid. Or click this one to see the new animals discovered this year. Thanks for watching, and keep looking up.